Good morning. Welcome to Daylight with Dean number 45 on May 26, 2020. So grateful that you're here with us today. If not live, which if you are live, what's going on with that? Maybe you're just a cereal morning person. How'd you get the pun? I like cereal in my morning. I'm sorry. That's one of the things I would say, not that particular, but I'd say something like that in front of my kids, and they were like, Dad, that's not funny. I find it funny, but we start this morning at 5:53 a.m., just 5 minutes away from our earliest start time of the year that begins on June 7th. So we're having a great time in the mornings, and if you don't catch it live, thank you for being one of the hundreds that catch it later in the day. Just means a lot to me to connect with you this way, and thank you. Got my fancy dancy famous Daylight with Dean coffee mug that someone gifted, mysteriously, don't know who. But thank you very much. But it is empty this morning. Yes, Dean is not having coffee this morning because Dean is not allowed to eat or drink anything after midnight. There I go, speaking of myself in the third person. Sorry about that. I am having surgery this morning, and some of you know, but most of you don't. I got a hernia maybe 6 years ago, 5 years ago. It's an umbilical hernia right around my belly button, and I don't particularly remember exactly when it happened. I talked to a friend who had one and had this surgery, and he said, "Oh, I remember exactly when I got mine." I don't remember. My closest guess on the timing and everything, we were remodeling the kitchen of my mother's house before we were selling it, and we ordered a farmhouse sink, and for some crazy reason, because I did a lot of things by myself, I thought that I could lift this into the car by myself, this enormous cast iron sink, and I went and picked it up, and there was no one at the workplace, just a little a young girl, receptionist girl, and I couldn't ask her to help me, so I thought, I can handle this. So I think it might have been on a cart to get it out there, but lifting it up into the van just about killed me. Probably the single heaviest thing I ever tried to lift by myself in my life. And I don't know if that's when it happened or not, but I'm going to be going to Forbes Regional Hospital this morning at 9, surgeries at 11:10 a.m. It's great because we're not allowed visitors or anything, so my wife's dropping me off, and they're going to have her cell phone number and give her updates throughout the day, and she'll come and pick me up. So they said to wear loose, comfortable clothing, don't get dressed up. And I'm like, well, that's what I've been wearing for the past 10 weeks. So I washed it all, so it's all nice and clean. And met the surgeon, feel good about that. Quite anxious about the surgery, though. I don't really look forward to that kind of thing. It is funny, it's a minor procedure when it's happening to you. It's major surgery when it's happening to me. It's funny stuff. So have that going on, and if you've had that procedure, you'll probably know what I should expect. I talked to my friend, and he was like, "Good luck with that." So we'll see. I have the robotic assisted genius called Da Vinci helping in the procedure. And so I would appreciate your prayers. Thank you very much. So my coffee mug is empty. That's the point. I don't quite know what all factored into it, but I guess I was on edge quite a bit this weekend. When we recorded the sermon for Sunday on Thursday, I had talked quite a bit about my mother and father's passing at the beginning of the service, beginning of the message, since we were talking on death and life in the Psalms. And I just noticed emotionally I was kind of on edge after that. And Sunday morning, Leslie noted that I was real irritable. I really wasn't trying to be. I didn't really notice it. And then, but somebody tells you something long enough, okay, I guess I am. And Sunday was the anniversary of my father's passing, and so that may have played into it. And then yesterday was a good day. We had a sweet gathering with my brother-in-law and sister-in-law from Johnstown, and my in-laws, and just had a nice little cookout with ribs this time that were fantastic. And but he's leaving for Iraq next month, and there's some anxiety about that. And then I got real short and irritable, and I'm attributing it to stress. I'm attributing it to anxiety and anxiousness and worrying. I don't think that I worry a lot, but I think that I might be on this one. So I said all that to say your prayers are appreciated. I had an exhilarating phone call from my neighbor next door last night. She is, she's in her, in their house, and we look after them. We check in with her and her husband, good friends of ours, good friends, but they seldomly reach out to us. And they called last night, and I said, we have something going on, we want you to come see it. So my wife and I went over, and we saw it and couldn't believe it. And so we called my son, and he came over and he couldn't believe it. And we called my two daughters, and they came over and they couldn't believe it. And she said, I think it's a brand new eagle. I think it's a young eagle. And I'm like, I don't know about that. When I came out and looked at it, and it looked kind of like a hawk to me. But this thing was enormous. I don't know that I'd ever seen a hawk this big. So I took a picture of it, and it was on their fence in their backyard, 10 feet away from where they were sitting. I guess it came and landed and flopped around, was having a hard time flying. And so it flapped and flapped and got up on the railing and was just sitting there very stoic. And I have a friend that is very knowledgeable on wildlife, and his daughter works for the Game Commission, so I sent him a picture, and he said, I am 99.99% sure that's a baby eagle. And it was enormous. And I'm like, The thing couldn't fly. It struggled to get. He goes, look, they're notorious, or they're famous for not being able to fly when they first start to try. They're real sloppy flyers. I haven't had any coffee, so I don't quite know exactly how to tell this part of the story, but it was not very skilled at flying. And I said, well, we don't have any eagles in New Kent. And he goes, we got them in Harborville, we got them up at Moraine State Park. And I'm like, well, if they can't fly, how did they get here? So our kids came over, and it is, we believe, you look at the beak on it. So we were advised to not call the game commission Monday evening, but just to wait to see if it was still there today, and then call the game commission if so. But it was spectacular. So that was my excitement for yesterday and the weekend. I grew up out in the country in Delmont on my grandfather's 100-acre farm, surrounded by woods. Never saw an eagle. I moved to New Kensington. I see a fox, I see deer, squirrels, chickbugs, and now most likely an eagle. So I appreciate the opportunity to share that with you, and that's all I got. I'm gonna go get ready. We're leaving the house a little after 8 o'clock, and again, look forward to seeing you tomorrow. I appreciate your prayers, and thank you guys. Have a great day.